Hi folks, we are back again to talk about gear. I'm going out for a one-nighter on Saturday to test out the new tent and a couple of other things that I'll show you, but I don't have a footprint and it's going to be mushy. So remember this backpacker's tarp that I showed you in my last gear video. I don't ever use this when I go backpacking, and I've used it only once when I go car camping. So what I want to do is I'm just going to cut it to the size and shape of my X-Mid one and use it as a ground sheet, because this weekend, or all of this week, it's going to be quite warm, and so we're going to start with the spring thaw, and it's going to be very likely mushy during the day, and then it'll freeze overnight. So when I put my tent down, I want to make sure that I'm not getting kind of moisture up through the floor and not getting the bottom of the tent all covered in mud, because this I can just throw in the washing machine. It was really cheap at Canadian Tire, so I'm not too worried about it. So I don't use this, I don't need it. So now I've just got an extra stuff sack. So I'm gonna pull this out and go. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't think it'll matter. But I'm going to pull this all out. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've got this all laid out on my dining room table, and I've got my handy Sharpie marker, and because the inner tent for the X-Mid 1P, it's not a perfect rectangle. It would make life so much easier if it was, of course, but it's a little bit offset. I'm not exactly sure what you call the shape. Geometry was not one of my better subjects in school, but I'll put up a little picture of what the inner, the shape of the inner is for this tent. There is a footprint that Dan Durston sells for this tent. However, they are currently sold out. So I want to preserve my tent for as long as I possibly can, and because of what the conditions might be for this weekend, I want to make sure that I'm not getting it all covered in mud, or even possibly the ground could be frozen like the trail was where I was a couple of weeks ago, so I don't want sharp ice pieces poking through the bottom either. So either way, this is going to protect the bottom of my tent. So I've measured this out now, and I can just start cutting. So this is the Woods backpacker tent. It's not a tent, tarp. I don't know what the size is off the top of my head, but I think I paid like $15 for it 4 or 5 years ago at Canadian Tire. So I mean, it didn't cost me a whole lot of money. I'm not too worried about cutting it to bits. This weighs 1 pound. this whole tarp, which I mean it's not heavy. I've never used it. Except for once when I was car camping with my dog and it was raining, so I put it over the picnic table so that he could sit underneath there and stay dry. So I'm just going to cut this, and then with the rest of it, I'm going to give the other half to my friend Stacy, who also bought the X-Mid 1P, and she also needs a footprint. So let's get to cutting. Where'd the scissors go? Scissors. Okay, so I've got this all marked out with the Sharpie, and I just need to cut along the dotted line. And this, I mean, it shouldn't fray or anything because it is, I'm guessing it's a sil nylon of some sort. The seams are taped. I mean, it's a pretty good tarp. I just don't use it. I'm not much of sleeping under a tarp. I was when I was a little kid. We used to set a tarp up outside. We didn't even cowboy camp out in the backyard when we were kids. Just put something down on the ground, sleep in the backyard. Even when I was a teenager, we'd go and have field parties, pass out in the field. Okay, so I'm going to get on with this, and I'll bring you back once I've got this cut out. And there we have it. 2 ground sheets, footprints, whatever you want to call them, 2 ground sheets for our Dan Durston plus Drop X-Mid 1P tents. I weighed these. Each of them are 5.5 ounces. So I mean that's pretty light. The tent weighs less than 2 pounds compared to my other tent. It's really light. So I am very much looking forward to this weekend. We're just doing a one night out and back at QE2 Wildlands. I have some other gear that I'm also testing out this weekend. I had to buy a new Puffy Jacket. My old Puffy, you would have seen that in a bunch of my videos. It was about 5 years old, and I washed it the other day properly. I washed it with the Nick Wax down washing stuff. You know, the whole thing that you're supposed to do with down Puffy Jackets. Well, it's still got clumps, and I don't know why, but the elbows are completely bald now of down. So I was out the other night and it was cold. So I decided to order myself a new down puffy. So I got this one. This is a Roots, which is a Canadian company, but this was manufactured in Vietnam. I bought the men's size small because the men's were on sale and the women were not. This was $80, the men's jackets, but the women's jackets are $150. So why spend all that money when I can just get this one? It's a little bit big, but I like the length on the arms. It's a little bit big here. I probably could have gone with the extra small, but I mean, this would be great for wintertime. I can fit extra layers in it. And it's rated to -17 Celsius. So I'm not even going to get near that cold this weekend. It's supposed to be really warm during the day and only about -7 overnight. But I'm looking forward to testing this out. So that's the Roots, what's it called? It's Roots Down Puffy Jacket, 700 fill power, responsible down. Also, my old down puffy was from Costco. It's the Paradox brand, and because they are so affordable, I'm guessing they are not responsible down fill. I want responsible down from humanely treated animals. Okay, so another piece of gear that I am trying out this weekend. Ladies, who's with me? Who hates bras? Who hates bras? Me. I hate them, but I mean, look at these. I can't go around without a bra. So, I'm always looking for something that's comfortable, and I also wanted for our long distance hike this year, I wanted something merino wool because it doesn't stink. It doesn't hold on to the stink. Synthetic fibers hold on to the stink. So I wanted the merino wool, but I also wanted something that's gonna hold these. So I'm gonna test this out. I don't know yet if it's going to work. It's called Angle Sports, and I bought it from a Canadian vendor, Wool and Warmth, something like that. I'll post the name and the link for you. So this is merino wool and silk blend. It doesn't need to be washed all the time. It doesn't need to be laundered very often. So I figured this will be great for our 2-week trip because we're not going to have any in-town stops. We are going to be out there for 2 weeks without any laundry, without any showers or bath. Like, we might be able to jump in the lake, but yeah. So I wanted to test out this. It's a standard racerback style, and I'm hoping that this will be comfortable and hold the girls in, and I'm hoping that it won't stink. So I'm going to do like long-term testing on all of these, and I will let you know once I've lived with them for a little while how it goes. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Just a quick one this evening, and if you have any comments or suggestions, post them below. Let me know what you think of my homemade. Oh, plus I also have scraps. I can give these to my friend who has a sewing machine, and she can make some like stuff sacks and ditty bags and stuff like that. So I mean, that is not going to go to waste, whereas, you know, we could have bought a sheet of polycro, which is just disposable plastic, and is going to put microplastics into the environment, which we don't like to do. So I'm using something that I already had, and it's not going to just be thrown out into landfill. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of my DIY ground sheet, and any of these other products. If you want some information, just let me know.